Utah politics.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Glenn Mills. It is time to go inside Utah politics. We do begin this morning with Connor Boyack. He is with Libertas Institute, here to talk about the expansion of the Children's Entrepreneur Market. Connor, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Glenn.
Let's start off with the background. This all came together a few years ago with a new law. That's what it took to get the ball rolling. So go back and tell us what that was all about.
Well, over the years, we've seen headlines across the country where little kids' lemonade stands are getting shut down because they don't have a business license or a permit. And this poor 4-year-old girl, I think back east, had to pay around $85 to get a permit when she was only selling 50-cent cups of lemonade. And so we thought that was a tragedy, something that we shouldn't do. So we got the Utah legislature to pass a law saying that if you're a minor, you don't have to get a business license, you don't have to get a food handler's permit or do anything like that. And so we've created a literal free market for kids here in Utah.
And talk about how it works. We have some pictures and some video that we'll show as you're discussing this, but how did it all come together and how does it work?
So after we got the law passed, we wanted to celebrate it, kind of put it into practice, and so we put together the Children's Entrepreneur Market. 2017 was our first year. They're basically like farmers markets, but run entirely by kids. So mom and dad come to help set up and get everything situated, but then the kids are the ones interacting with customers. They're the ones exchanging cash, haggling, negotiating. It's a lot of fun. And so the kids, for them, it's like a real world practical opportunity. If you do a lemonade stand on the side of the road at your house, 90% of your time you're trying to flag down customers, get cars to stop. With our markets, we bring the customers to them, and it is non-stop selling. So kids make a lot of money, they have a lot of fun, and it works out really well.
And do they have any training beforehand, or do they go through any type of class before they do this?
Yeah,
how does that all work?
We send emails to the parents. We have a little business plan, and so we send out information about how to have a successful market. We've got a bunch of videos saying, all these different tips that they can follow. And then after the market as well, we provide them some curriculum and education to really promote entrepreneurship and help them understand from our perspective why free markets are so powerful.
And what are some of the most common items you'll find at these markets? What do kids like to get into when it comes to business?
It's cycles. A few years ago, everyone had fidget spinners, and so there was a lot of
So whatever the cool thing of the day is.
It's the cool thing. Right now, it's the fidgets and the poppets and boba drinks, I guess, are a thing right now. So you get kind of fads coming and going, but you see the kids who do really well are the ones that are putting time and effort into it. There was a teen boy who made these like handmade wooden pens, and he sold a ton because it was so unique, versus kids who might have mom go to Costco and get chips and sodas, and those don't sell really well because there's nothing special about them. So if they put time in, it works out really well, and they can make a lot of money in a 3-hour market on a Saturday.
So how much are you talking?
Oh, for my kids, when they went, they were selling some jewelry and things like that, and they each made, I think, $40-50, both of my kids each, for 3 hours. For an 8- and 10-year-old, that's not bad at all.
And the ones that are finding success and making this money, are you encouraging them to reinvest in the market so that they can continue to see it grow?
We have a lot of kids who come to several markets because it does well for them. We're actually creating scholarships now to help support kids who actually want to turn these into legitimate small businesses and really grow that throughout their teen years and into adulthood. And then moving forward, we'll be having mentorships and a lot of other opportunities where successful entrepreneurs throughout Utah can guide and mentor the kids who really want to lean into this and grow it into an actual business.
When and where do these markets take place?
So we do them every year. This is our 5th year. They're all across the state. They're 3 hours at a market, and we go all up and down the valley, southern Utah, northern Utah. And so every summer we put these on. It's all at children'sentrepreneurmarket.com, and we try to bring a market close to everyone in Utah.
And when this law was changed back in 2017, talk about how the bill performed. Was it bipartisan? Were there strong opposition to it?
There was initial opposition from the cities. A lot of the cities didn't like the idea of not being able to regulate these. What if, a kid's lemonade is contaminated? Do we really want to say you don't need a food health permit? So we kind of negotiated through that with the cities and ultimately got this passed. It passed overwhelmingly after a couple years of failing. And now we've actually helped several other states pass similar laws too.
Yeah, we'll get into that. At the time, though, how did you address and come to that compromise with the cities that maybe, you still need to have some type of oversight when you're preparing food?
Well, the issue is there's not really any data to substantiate that there's actually a problem here. I mean, how many food outbreaks have there been from little kids' lemonade stands? So our pitch to lawmakers at the time was, let's take a wait and see approach. Let's allow this and then see if it's actually a thing that we need to come bring some regulations on, rather than assume that it's a problem and have these punitive regulations on the front end.
And have you taken a look at that?
Yeah, we can't find any complaints, no health issues. I think health departments want to be proactive and make sure kids are washing their hands, and so we try and teach them the right things. But the law actually they don't even have to collect and remit sales taxes. I mean, it is an open and free market for these kids right now.
Okay, and you already mentioned that this is now expanding into other states. Talk about the process and where it's going.
So next year we're taking this on the road. This will be our first time. We're going to expand into 5 states, Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania, where the legislatures there have followed Utah's lead and passed somewhat similar laws protecting youth entrepreneurship. So we're going to now take the market to those states. We'll expand our website and our brand and everything to no longer be a Utah project, but we're going to start to scale it across the country.
And so how will that work for, I would imagine you're going to be reaching out to kids and parents in those states as opposed to, or maybe there is an opportunity for kids in Utah to go to these other markets as well, but how do you see that working?
Potentially you could travel, although we'll probably appeal just to local residents. We have
definitely up the expenses.
It would, definitely. It would be a good lesson in trade-offs of how much you want to invest in your company.
Right.
So we do a series of children's books called the Tuttle Twins, and that's a national thing. We've sold millions of copies, and so we have a national audience through that platform, and so we'll be marketing to the kids and the families reading those books all across the country to say, hey, we're bringing the markets to you. So we kind of already have an established audience that we'll tap into.
So when you talk about some of the laws being similar to the one that we passed here, what are some of the differences that you'll see in some of the other states?
So in Texas, for example, they have a similar law, except it only covers beverages. So the moment that a kid is selling a homemade cookie, the crushing weight of the state comes upon him because he didn't get a food handler's permit for the cookie. So as long as they stick to beverages, they're okay. We're not going to do that in our markets. We're in fact going to expand in the future to states that don't have legal protections and really just be a little bit provocative to say, look, if you really want to shut down a kid's market like this, then we're going to go to the legislature and get the law fixed. Because these kids aren't being really regulated or punished when they're on the side of the road on their driveway. If we just bring them all together into a park, it doesn't really change what they're selling and what they're doing, but there is going to be some work to get those legislatures to pass similar laws as well.
And the ultimate goal is what? Kids start out at this level and become the next generation of business owners?
Yeah, our goal is to promote why free markets are important, why entrepreneurship is a wonderful thing to improve our world, to be problem solving, to identify a need that people have, even if it's as simple as a cool lemonade on a hot Saturday. We're trying to get kids to think in a problem-solving context to improve the world around us. And so for us, these experiences and then the curriculum and teaching we do around it are really designed to promote those broader ideas that are often absent in schools. And so we're turning to the parents to say, here's a project you can do together to teach your kids these ideas.
And have there been any examples here in Utah over the years where people have kind of graduated from the market and gone off?
Oh yeah, several kids have turned this into a full-fledged business operation. One is called Floss Cotton Candy. You can find their products in all kinds of grocery stores throughout Utah now. It's like a shelf-stable cotton candy in a dish that you can get. So several kids are really leaning into this, which is exciting, and we want to increasingly help them out and make that happen more.
All right, any parents or children entrepreneurs that want to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
So the website is children'sentrepreneur.com. It's a test to see if you can spell entrepreneur, or you can find us on social media. Just type Children's Entrepreneur Market and it'll come up.
All right, very interesting. We'll see how it goes with the expansion. Appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet. Still to come, the latest poll